Is Jake zooming in?
He is not going to be able to join us.
He had said he'd hoped to try.
I think Rosemary's gonna try. She called me Monday.
And the other young lady is supposed to be here.
That should come. The minimums will be easy.
Is four the number we need to?
What do you need to print?
The minutes?
You want me to, oh, did you correct them?
I did.
Yeah, why don't you email them to me at the office and I'll grab them real quick.
Was that helpful, you guys?
Oh, Barry.
Well, I didn't take the notes for council, so I reported to council that month, so I already had most of it in there, I just tried to format it for you.
Well, it was very helpful. We had to be a little bit less detailed.
Is Joey back in town or is she still out of town? Joey Marino?
We really should look to know that position that we don't. That she want in the future. I agree. Alright, if it's a one. What's this lovely gentleman came all the way from Cape Charles to see us. He did. Yeah, he's on the north end of Indiana.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Katie Schwab. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys have to say who made the motion.
You have to?
I'm pretty sure.
Sure, Cape Charles resident of some sort before Onancock? Okay, you didn't own them. You never bought property there.
Still live there, but I couldn't find a house.
Uh-huh.
Motion.
Wise decision.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
He said, well, at the time and where you met, or don't need to have that.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable if we just ask if anybody remembers who made the motion and seconded?
Sure. But if it's a video online and they can contest it, maybe that's not the best practice.
Yeah, I couldn't find the video. I know Matt had find it, but I couldn't. I tried to. Maybe we could, put the subject to this changes. You have it, do you know where to find it?
Yeah, if you go to the homepage and you go to, up top, there's councils and committees. And then you go down to meetings and agendas and minutes.
Yeah.
And then you can scroll down through all the meetings and at the bottom. Go to page 2 is where we'll. And they'll look for a
So it's not under. the-
Oh, but it's actually not online.
Right.
Are we recording?
not?
No, it's not there,
Okay.
so we need the video.
Yep.
And you need to know who made adjourns and stuff too.
while I'm thinking about it, so I don't forget it, the December the 17th meeting.
Yes,
I'm flying out that day for Christmas to go to Texas to see my daughters.
okay.
So that
That's not.
is,
Right.
yeah, either in person or Zoom, either one, I'll be just FYI.
You guys interested in volunteering and getting on?
I haven't heard from a soul.
Yeah, I have, do you have a list of things?
I have.
I know Rosemary said she was interested, anybody else?
Yeah.
Speak out.
Nobody else did, but probably not.
I don't need to be unless you want me to be, that's up to you.
Cool. Okay. I guess we should have like 3 people, right? So, yeah. So we don't have any like open.
Oh, we can't have more than 2, so it's only 2.
You can have 3, right?
No, no, the core, the 3 is, can't have 3, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Only 2 of us can be on the other time. Now, we could call a meeting and do interviews, just go right in closed session and do interviews, and then we're all here instead of.
Right. Just seems like a lot of trouble. I mean, we could, but it's just obviously not easy to get people together.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Go from there. And probably the committee should all come up with the questions and let's let 2 people come.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, keep it agenda, keep up questions, I wouldn't want to go too far off.
Right. Right.
Hang on. What's everybody doing for dinner?
Simply my one is that with me. Well, maybe.
I think she would have texted me if I not going wire, but what's going on?
Maybe. Whatever Kendra is, she said she would be here.
I don't keep the minutes even.
No, it's the afternoon.
I try, cause I'm not, I'm trying to take it where you can. We're working on sale 250 for next summer too. They're just looking at some shield or out of town.
That should be fun. How was the concert the other night?
We didn't want to go early because we were kind of hanging out, and we got there for the second show. It was great, except they ran out of alcohol and the bugs were pretty bad, so I was like, oh, I didn't think about bug spray.
At the school.
Yeah, you guys were there, right?
We came at, what, it started at 5 or whatever time it started, we were there. I got one beer, went back, and they were sold out.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had wine, and I stood in line, and by the time I got up there, they were out of wine.
They were in a white wine first, that's why I was like, oh.
Yeah. So Burnham and a couple guys took off and went and bought cases of beer and cases of wine and brought it back. And then so they had some more, but obviously whoever was in charge of alcohol was not a drinker. The guy behind Guy Shover, who was behind the bar, said that for the beer, they had bought a pony keg, which pony keg is
What, for the whole show?
for the whole show. Yeah, and from like 5 to 8, 3 hours and
Grand opening.
with a pony keg, and it was gone, as I said before. I think Bill's group played first, and before they got through 3 or 4 songs, the beer was gone.
If you don't use it, you just use it at your next event.
Right.
We went to a party a couple weeks ago that a local girl has a like food truck thing, but she has a open bar yeah, the Rue Girl. Yeah, so you were there. Yeah, they had.
That mobile bar was awesome.
I mean, that's a type of thing they could pull up there, have them pull up there. And well, there's got to be some either a charge that they pay back or a percentage or something, but I mean, that's a great idea.
Pizza came down once they got it set up, and there was like 2 really nice porta potties in the back of it. And it was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Wedding you were at, the
Yeah, for
Hutchinson.
yeah, that was it was really nice. And of course, she's got such a beautiful spot on the eastern shore, overlooking. The friend we're talking about is in Cedar.
Try making a phone call? Nah.
What's that?
You didn't try to make a phone call, did you?
Nope,
No.
Matt's like, I'm just here for looks.
I'm staff support.
Who is Cynthia's iPhone? That's not.
You turn your microphone on.
Rosemary, is it?
It's me, Bill. It's Cindy Holdren. Can you hear me?
Oh.
We don't have a quorum.
He popping on
I
us.
see.
I was hoping it'd be Rosemary, at least using somebody's phone to.
2 people who weren't able to join tonight, so we were counting on a bare minimum quorum. Struggle here.
Yeah, if Rosemary chimed in, she could count.
Yep.
I think the rules say the quorum has to be present.
I was just thinking about that. I do think that you have to have a physical present quorum, but they can still attend and vote. Meeting, yeah.
Right.
You're right. This is a group thing. Matt, have you walked over to 38 Market Street this
I
time?
haven't seen it. I saw the picture with the,
Was it on?
well, it was up, but it had all the 2x4s. Oh my God.
Going upstairs out. Where is that? Man, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
So our final, we're not doing murals again for a long.
Yeah, the wrong line.
I think you're spot on. That is gorgeous.
So we had one of our last things was a mosaic from New Ravenna. Oh, which we're gonna do a post on Facebook tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
It just got up today, so. That's on the restroom building. On the alley.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a pretty piece. This was Cindy Holdren's baby. She did a fabulous job.
So beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. It's lovely.
I'm also with Onancock Main Street, just so you know.
Yeah, I know, I seen your name.
And whose building is that gonna go on?
It's on 38 Market Street where the welcome center is and the restrooms. It's on the restrooms side. But so, yeah. We have to show.
Do you stay in touch with Karen down there?
We do. We're trying to catch up and chat. Their King Charles Main Street is a little bit different than ours, but it's still nice to kind of have somebody to catch up with and check in on. And
Yeah, you guys still have your business association. Is that right?
yes, we do.
Andrew's on her way. Okay, so we will have a call.
Good, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Station manager Ryan Bannis tells 13 News Now what it took to get to this milestone.
As a civil engineer and somebody that really counts himself fortunate to be a part of an event like this, we have had an
Hey,
absolutely
Sharon.
outstanding team.
Hey,
Hey, is your TV on?
today. Many of those.
yes, you need it off. You said they're saying turn off the TV. There you
If
go.
you don't mind, thank you.
Yeah.
We're hoping to have a quorum shortly, so hang tight.
Okay. I'm trying to get me out of the picture and you in.
Good luck.
You're welcome.
How many do you have to have a quorum?
One more.
Mm,
She's on her way.
okay.
Kendra.
No, man,
Oh, Sharon Hayden.
that was Sharon.
Yeah, that's me.
Sorry about that. I didn't recognize you.
See? Yeah, you're every computer.
Is that Bill Chandler?
Yeah.
Well, you can tell him, I don't recognize you sometimes either.
Let me take a roll call. Okay. Now that we have a quorum, we're going to call the meeting to order, although Katie's doing that. Roll call vote. Director Chandler,
Here,
Director Figgy, present. Director Dillon, Director Paparo,
Director Stearns,
There.
Chair Schwab.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay. You should go ahead and take a look at the minutes, which we have circulated in paper form. I know that Lisa has pointed out that there is a deficiency and that we have not specified the exact people who proposed and seconded the motions. So we need to go back and look at the recording of the meeting.
Which I just put up on our website.
Fabulous, thank you.
Yep.
So,
So it's onancock.com. Have you gone up and looked at
Yeah.
agendas and stuff? So it's, yeah, it's on there. And the other piece that we're missing is, we need to know who adjourned and what
down,
time we
Billy.
adjourned.
We don't have to turn it off. I just want it down low.
I think her mic's not.
No.
Being those corrections will still be made for the record. Is that the motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion.
Well, I think we probably need to make it a more specific motion. So let's say, hold on one
Subject
second.
to
Hold on one second, because I'm going to play secretary tonight.
the amendment.
Okay, so how about, you move to, approve the minutes once those items are.
Subject to
Move.
as amended.
As amended. So we don't have an amendment on here yet, but do you want to specify what that will be, which will be the
Yep.
addition?
We'll show who made the motion to adjourn and at what time, and who made the motions and seconds on what were the
The vote for treasurer and the amended bylaws. Does that work for you, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, and Kendra seconded. Okay,
We need a second.
Kendra seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you all. Okay, now to move to the little bit of business we have for tonight. The first item is an update on the Williston project. I know Matt has some very fresh detail, but I wanted to share with everyone that I did see the project. I stopped in and met with Ann Kyle, and she gave me a tour of the upstairs, which was really impressive and exciting. The units are lovely and I think will be a great asset to the town. So she was waiting, that time, this was 2 weeks ago. At that time, she was waiting for a couple more inspections, a couple more items to come through, and I know Matt's spoken with her more recently, so I'd love for him to provide more current updates. On the COs.
They have two significant projects left that aren't really significant in time, but they're significant in nature. They need to get the shipment of their sprinkler heads, which are just simply on back order. There's nothing that they're waiting for other than to get those. And they also have to tie the building's water sprinkler system into the water line that the town provided in the rear of the building. That's no heavy lifting. They just need to get that done. So those are the only two things that are holding them up. My recommendation would be, and what I told Ann Kyle was that I would not be seeking an extension further beyond November 30th. I think that she's substantially complete, and even though the contract reads that it's upon certificate of occupancy, she's been occupying downstairs for a year, and upstairs, looks like it's just about done. So that's my thoughts.
Is there a shipment date for the sprinkler?
No.
Okay.
You know. That would mean that we can start seeing the return.
I would think December first would
Right.
be our first payment date, so before that time, you guys will need to have a policy on how you're gonna administer that and
Yeah.
what you can do with the.
Great.
With the corpus.
So with that being said, we don't meet again until the 17th. So do we need to talk timeline?
Yes, we should. Seems to me that we could do some work, sort of committee work before that, and then maybe adopt something in our December meeting, right? Because it'll just be one payment coming in.
Right, and I wouldn't think there'd be any disbursements that soon
Right.
anyway, so,
Right, yeah,
you know, I guess what we would say is no disbursements will be made until there's a policy in place.
Right.
And that gives you some time to stretch.
right. Right, but that is exciting that.
It is.
Yeah.
So what is the scope of the committee? To just set up the revolving loan fund?
Put an agenda item on just to talk about a bit more. That would be, we can go out of order and go about that now, or get to it in a minute, but
We don't have to go in order.
well,
No, that's good news.
So the CO is for the whole building, not for the individual unit.
That's correct.
Is there a reason they have to do it that way? Or-
That's just the way the county, we outsource our building inspections and permitting to the county. And that's how they do it unless it's requested by the owner that they get a partial. Our contract with them and the loan documents are very clear that they begin paying back the loan the first of the month following the receipt of their certificate. So I would think, I mean, they're eager to get that done as well,
right.
because they can't make any money upstairs and they put a lot into it.
Just to repeat, I'm repeating myself, but the units look lovely. I think the units do, on the short-term rentals, 5, I think. Each one is a little bit different. They're very stylish, 1 bedroom, cool kitchens, washer, dryer, exposed brick. They're wallpaper in the bathrooms. They're very nicely done, I would say. Yeah, it'll be a lovely asset for the town. Great to get that going. Yep. Okay. Okay, anything more on Williston? And we don't need to do anything, right? We don't.
Nope.
No, okay.
Also,
Okay, good. All right. Now, with regard to hiring an attorney, which I know we've had on our agenda over and over again, I wanted to share that I went back to Michelle Gowdy, who runs the Virginia Municipal League. Previously, we had thought that she would be a good resource for us to seek recommendations. She had previously recommended and has confirmed that she continues to recommend 3 potential attorneys. One is Solomon Ashby from McIntyre Stein. One is Kaufman and Knowles, just a very well-known firm, big firm. And then also Pender and Coward. So she said that she continues to recommend them. So I thought what we should do is send them letters, see if they continue to be interested. And then we could have interviews with them. And I know that Rosemary also had reached out to someone, and we should also, I think, suggest that we talk with him as well and see if he would be a good candidate. And then we can make a decision.
She ever, get back the original,
Right.
proposal of like $1,000.
Yeah.
Which isn't very realistic. So, but she said, I think she talked to them about it, but I didn't hear what the outcome was.
She said that they would waive, she came back in a second email that said that they would waive that fee for 1 year.
yeah, I don't know what the term of the contract would be beyond the 1 year. What kind of impact
That,
would have?
that wasn't clarified, with the exception of, I do think that she did, it's somewhere in that original communication where she stated that it was $1,000 a month. that there was a certain dollar amount that they were charging in addition to or whatever. But I don't. Yeah. No. And the three that you got from the individual, in addition to the one that Rosemary has recommended, it still is my understanding that Matt has said that the town attorney would represent us. And the town, and is it my understanding that the town council and the attorney doesn't have a problem with this?
No, he represents, or the firm rather represents a couple of different municipalities, both the government and the economic development. So there's no precedent we're setting here.
So it would be another attorney with the firm or something?
$3,000 a year for him to provide the service.
So you're saying that it would be the same firm, but a different representative potentially?
Well, they've got the resources to make a
Okay.
different representative. So that's the risk. You know, if you want the same firm, so they understand the town and understand the nature of the relationship, but if you want a purely independent party, then you're gonna need to go elsewhere.
My only hesitation with that is that we could be sued independent of each other and have to be against each other in court. Not that we're going in that direction, and not that I'm worried about that today, but just for a future concern.
Yeah. Well,
And it doesn't need to be a flat fee retainer, it could sort of be an hourly arrangement, or up to a certain amount per year, or whatever it might be.
and to clarify what you just said, you also have the ability to change attorneys at any point in time as we become more involved and feel that we need a different representation that exceeds what we're getting, or if we fear it could be a conflict of interest. And if there was, then both parties, I assume, as in most transactions, these guys have to back away or not going to represent you.
So there are two, so we're talking about covering CYA, covering our butts in our actions as board members versus having an attorney review legal documents, contracts, loan documents. Like, those seem like two different things. Like the secondary would just be an hourly rate. I don't understand why the board members are any different. Oh, I thought it was on. Or any different than the zoning board or I'm not sure.
Right. No, my understanding is for us in terms of like directors and officers insurance, that we're covered by the town's policy. And so this would be more for having legal counsel for us as we create a revolving loan fund, for example, or whatever it might be, that the council would say, this is, the best way to craft that. Maybe take a second look at our bylaws as we move forward into more busy time.
I guess that's where I'm confused, because we are a separate entity. So how is the town able to cover us under their insurance policy?
Just like the zoning
Okay.
board feels is a separate entity. So, but they're like, we're all participating in the government. So, there are restrictions on how people. So.
Right.
Is it listed like that in the insurance policy, like council versus BZA?
Exactly that question. And she said, because it's the town of Onancock municipality, that any board member, director, or commissioner is covered under that director's legal and liability package.
Thank you. That's helpful to know. Good.
So is it prudent to think now that we got these names that we need to move forward with doing an interview of them. And at that point, after based on what they are willing to provide and the cost thereof, we make a decision whether to stay where we are, take what's available to us through the town, or to go independently.
That's how I see it. And I guess I would think we might want to think a little bit about just what we need this council for, right? I mean, I've been reluctant to move forward with engaging someone until this point because I felt like we just
We
weren't
don't have
ready.
anything for them to do,
Right. Right. But I do think now, especially as we prepare to start receiving proceeds from the Williston project and, you know, have to have a game plan for what we're going to do, that it would be good to have some advice on how to structure a program that's consistent with state law and whatever.
And
else.
you suggested to have 3 people do the interview.
I thought so, although Lisa is advising that maybe
can't
3
have
is
3.
too many. Okay, I thought it was okay, but I
How
was
many
wrong.
can you have?
2.
2.
Okay. So if 2, maybe too few, and perhaps then we set up,
Do you want the same letter that you used last time?
Yeah.
For these folks? I
Mhm.
actually reached out to Pender and Coward last time too.
yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did.
They weren't interested.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we'll see if she said they're still, you know, recommended, but we can, right. Are they highly expensive too? Right, right, okay,
Both
okay,
Kaufman and Knoll's. The
Right,
town's used them
right.
before too.
right. Well, we could do letters. I'm trying to think, how do we,
Okay, how about
Do this
having
appropriately.
this
either
either mute it?
I just
or-
want the,
or
you know, this board to have some options, and feel good about whatever gets chosen.
Yes.
So we can solicit interest, share that interest. We can do that confidentially, I think, because it's solicitation of a contract.
Yes. Yes.
Let's do that.
That's a closed session
Okay,
discussion.
okay.
Did you want us to generate some questions, or do you want to throw some questions out and see if we have any edits to it? That's probably because
Sure.
I wouldn't know what to necessarily ask, so I would
Yeah,
defer to
I do.
you all.
That I actually, yeah. I
Okay.
can make that up pretty quick.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So Katie.
But does that sound like the right direction? You know, it would sort of be on advising us on creating those, some sort of a grant program and probably reviewing our bylaws to make sure that they're current and up to date. I think that's where we would direct. Okay, the
I think so.
resources. Okay, great. Yeah, this isn't,
Not yet.
not the UN,
Not
right,
yet.
right.
Matt,
Yeah,
can I ask you a question?
of course.
Are you familiar with, so I was looking up EDAs because a lot of them are created by big cities to handle like airport expansion, and they're issuing municipal bonds and blah, 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 and I'm like, this isn't very applicable. But I did find up in like Minnesota or Wisconsin, a bunch of small towns that had EDAs that were doing some really interesting stuff, and they had this multi-state group up there that was sort of, that they was helping them out, like a nonprofit.
Mhm.
That was like a economic development nonprofit. They also, I think they gave advice to, you know, bigger cities, but there were like 3 towns that were the same size, like 1,200 people who had, they had set up EDAs and they were using them for grants and stuff like that. Is there anything like that down here?
There's a Virginia Association of Economic Development Authorities. So yes, there is. And I've spoken with their director, and they said, once we get our legs under us and find out what direction we're going, they're more than happy to help us out. And if there's any professional development opportunities, they'll do that. If we sign up, if we become engaged, they would let us know about any granting opportunities that might line up with our mission and things like that. So it'd be a good resource, but
Is it the state, part of the state government, or just something
I
separate?
believe it's part of the state government, yes.
Great.
What's it called, Virginia?
Association of
Virginia
Economic
Association.
Development Authorities.
That would be great.
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
I was very envious, so I was like.
Right,
oh,
this is awesome, because they had their email going through the big group, like, so they were really, it was like substantial assistance. Like,
In the retention that you just talked about and what Lisa was gonna do and whatever, did you decide, or was it said, my lack of my hearing? Sometimes I miss things, but who was going to assist with the interviews?
I didn't think we identified necessarily just yet, right?
Yeah, I think what we decided, because the open meeting laws are pretty strict, and so we would probably want to do this since they're soliciting a contract, and I think everyone has an interest in it. We should do it as a closed session contract solicitation meeting.
Okay.
So we'll set them up, and the whole board will be invited to participate
Okay.
that way, right? In a closed session. That would be probably the most appropriate way to handle it. And then
Okay.
we'll make a decision as board.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That'll be great. Thank you. That's great. Okay. All right, and then just to get back to what Kendra started talking about, just our vision for a revolving fund or other projects. I think we've talked a little bit about maybe creating some sort of a fund that as we begin to collect revenue from the Lilliston project, maybe we'd have a small grant fund. The Lilliston project was very structured. It needed to be a large grant for a transformative project for a vacant building. We have flexibility in how now we'll create a program using the money that gets returned to us as they pay back that loan. And so we have sort of an opportunity to determine how we want to create that. And I would sort of rely on our partners, the Main Street Council, others, about what the most useful thing would be in town. I've heard folks say that there are businesses that would really benefit from small grant program. I know in other places where I've worked in business improvement districts and stuff, sometimes a small facade improvement grant is super important and super valuable. But we should give that some thought to see how we'd want to structure something going forward. We're not going to have $1 million to give away. Right. So
Is there?
yeah.
That's okay. One thing, because this is important, when we loan the money back out, we do have to meet certain criteria. And I know, Matt, you said you had talked to DHCD.
DHCD length about this because I was worried because we only had one blighted building that met their definitions of a downtown catalyst project.
Right.
So I asked, what do I do now that I don't have any more? And he said, as long as the nature of the transaction leans toward the purpose of the original loan, they're going to be fully satisfied. So facade improvement grant would be a perfect sample of it, but Main Street just got money to do that very thing. So, but that's an idea. I think grants are better received than loans just because, they don't want to pay it back. And if they had the money to invest in it, they already would have.
Right. Okay. The only hesitation with that is if we get a big project down the road, we don't have money coming back into our coffer. So not that we shouldn't do a grant, but that we maybe earmark some for low interest loans versus some that go back out into the community for relevant projects. The other thing I want to bring up is DHCD will probably open up the same grant that Lilliston got, which was the industrial revitalization loan again, and at the end of May, or end of April, beginning of May. So just to keep that on our minds, because if we, I know Jamie Knowles is working on the Wise drugstore. Maybe there's something we can partner with him on. That would be a great another application for that. And that he's just an example, but that just to kind of keep that timeline in mind, maybe there's another opportunity to bring in some more money.
Do you think that we pursue the planning grant first?
So yes, so Main Street can do a financial feasibility study, but I believe we already did one on that building. So I think that'll still resonate with that.
We didn't get the Selkmans didn't respond back and didn't give us the work product that was generated by their architect, which was a
big no.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't have all of the information on it, but Main Street probably has the financial
I think we do.
Yeah.
And you got the Red Queen is just sold and
It is. I don't even know who the purchasers are, what
or
their
what the
plans are.
use intended
Yeah.
use is and how they're going to fund it and
Yeah, so there's projects out there, and I know the Foskes are still working on doing something with their building downtown. So, and then there may be some projects uptown as well.
Right,
So
I was gonna say that's another thing, because I think Main Street has their kind of footprint is limited, right? So,
it is for the downtown district dollars. So I will say our facade grant that we're doing right now, it's only $35,000. We're gonna hopefully fund at least 7 projects,
Great.
potentially more, anywhere from $500 to $5,000, and they will be scored based on the criteria that we came up with.
Right.
So. And we've had a lot of infusion in cash downtown with revitalization,
yes,
Dogwood Branch, I want to call it Driftwood Moss, but Dogwood Branch did a beautiful facade. Now the local does.
Right.
So I feel like there's some really good momentum with property owners right
Yeah.
now for those types of projects. Main Street is also hand tied because we can only do things that are public facing. We can't do anything interior.
Okay.
So that might be actually another nice benefit to some of these business owners to look at their interior facades,
Right.
floors that might have issues and stuff like that. But I know it was an issue.
Tin roof is rusted.
Right.
I just looked out my window, I was like, tin.
Right. But interior and also uptown, that's also, because it's the entire footprint of the town that we have
Right.
ability to review.
Oh, really lovely, but is that just? Like, I would love to see something, not where this is all coming from. I don't know what kind of classes there are at the community college, but I think that some small business owners would benefit from some basic business classes
Mm-hmm.
that could be tied into like starting a business, getting a grant to start a business. Well, once you finish these classes, then you get the grant to start to rent your house or rent your building or whatever. To sort
Interesting.
of help with some of these small businesses that open and then close because they forgot about their taxes or they didn't set enough money or, I'm guessing that a lot of these businesses are undercapitalized, right? So I don't know how that would fall.
So there is a group that the CEO was just here last Monday to do a workshop for Main Street. We invited businesses up and down the Eastern Shore. And it's called Retail Alliance, and they're a nonprofit group in Virginia. And they actually, I think to get a membership, an annual membership is like $250 per business, but they come in and they help you set up your books. They help you to get realistic about how quick it's going to be to actually recoup your funds. One of her comments was, when somebody comes in to talk to me and they say, well, I'm just going to use my savings and empty my Roth IRA. She's like, stop. Because you got to be able to hold out for at least 5 years before your return is even going to start coming back in. So they work specifically. So, and I thought that was very interesting. And there's something that Main Street was looking into that maybe partner, and I forget how much it is off the top of my head. It might be $1,500 for like towns do this for certain businesses. Pay $1,500 and they get 10 memberships to give out for a year to different businesses. So not that it needs to be Main Street, but that might be another avenue too, to already tap into what's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. Like financial literacy kind of services.
Right. Basic bookkeeping.
Right.
What about taxes?
Right.
Yeah.
What about insurance?
Right.
What about, right?
Right.
Entrepreneurial.
And there's a bunch of resources out there. I think part of it is figuring out where they are and what they specialize in and really helping.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but like if we had some sort of grant program that, tied in, like you're required to educate yourself before we'll give you any money.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of thing, it might be.
Or present your business model along with your financials and what is your projections. I mean, that's all.
So that's
I think
another
that's
thing.
all fair money,
Yeah.
fair requests.
Right, so that's another thing to think about as we set this up, is sort of what would be the prerequisites for people qualifying for the program to help ensure that they're successful and that the, end product is successful. Okay. All right, so we have to think about how we're going to get this done in a couple of months. It's a busy time of year.
It is. Do we want to put together a small group?
Maybe.
Smaller than this?
I know. Sorry. Oh my goodness, it's hard not to have such a small group.
Okay, so there are rules about like doing research and getting together and talking about it with, because it has to be public or something like that, or
Yeah.
about emailing information to each other.
If you have 3 or more people, it has to be a public meeting. And that has to be published and advertised properly, following FOIA rules.
Yes, it is. It's really true. With all good intentions, it makes it very difficult.
And the cigar.
Wow. No. Not this day and age.
It is a little bit counterintuitive, but does make it challenging.
Yeah, so to me, a committee would, essentially,
We do need to set up like some committees of 2 to get some ideas into.
Yeah.
Like, shape. to
Yep.
Be presented, because we can't just sit brainstorm.
Right.
and you could probably even divide it out, like, research and then actual writing of the language for our loan,
Yep.
And I know Matt tried to present to us at the June meeting was I have it.
Term sheet.
It wasn't the term sheet. Was it the term sheet? It was the loan
Yeah.
funding options.
Yep.
So that might be a jumping off point for us, and it was handed to us at the meeting. So if you
Mhm.
weren't here, and not many of
Yep.
us were, we didn't have a quorum. So Matt may be able to send that to us again. Absolutely.
Okay. I thought I might have brought that with me. I did, in fact. Maybe. Right, and then you had found that you sent us the stuff from the Pine Island, just as a good example, right?
Yes, and I actually sent Katie a blank form.
Yeah, that was good too.
From
Very
.gov,
thorough.
which is like
Right.
how to set up your stuff and the information they're looking for and how to pretty much organize it within the document. I love a template.
Yeah, it's a good way in this area. All right,
Do
so,
we know how much we're looking at from the municipal grant for number 1?
Maybe over 5, I think.
Yeah, here it is. I thought I had. You had given us, one of my first meetings was,
The amortization schedule.
yes. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Send it out again real quick. I mean, I've got.
Okay.
I've got all the loan documents handy.
You would think I would have it with my flashy notebook. Guess I do not. Huh? Okay.
I'll send that out.
okay, that would be good. All right, would anyone like to volunteer to be part of these committees?
Yeah, so let's establish what they are.
Okay, all right,
And then assign.
okay. So we could do, like is research come in? I mean, that's just a little vague. I feel like we should.
I know, that's what I'm like,
Right?
oh my-
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably research on every level except for the writing level, because everybody else can get you that to the person who actually executes the writing.
Our goal is to come up with a,
The revolving loan fund.
so these are. So we're looking, so specifically for loans. So are we looking, since this was a loan, are we looking primarily to use these proceeds?
I guess that's the
as
question. Can we
a loan
use,
And then,
can all of
apply
the
for
repayment
other
go out as a
grants?
loan, as a grant?
My recommendation would be that you grant the interest earnings, not
yeah, that's
the
what I was
Awesome.
gonna
corpus.
ask.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you loan the corpus, that way it comes back in perpetuity. That's
Right.
just.
And are there fewer restrictions on the interest?
The interest
Yes,
is ours.
it's ours.
Just flat out?
Yep.
Okay.
So that was what I was thinking too,
Great minds.
for sure.
So it's like we kind of need to decide on a framework for the program, right?
Mhm.
Which would be sort of financially how it would work.
My other recommendation for the grant would be having one grant application period, so you're not getting peppered with them all year long.
So yeah,
Mm,
making your loan
Right.
applications, all that jazz, so.
January, February, receive the grant applications during the month of February, we review the grant applications and March we
Yeah.
distribute, and the next year we do the same thing.
And so a calendar
And that
too.
way, grant out because you'll know how much is in the bank for the prior year.
Yep.
So like committee one would be framework and financially how it works. Committee two would be loan grant applications and maybe a calendar for when these are open.
Mhm.
Right. And then we need to develop sort of the program criteria. And
I think
So
that,
I
is
think
that under
can vary
framework?
Based on the needs of the community, couldn't it? I mean, 2026 could be the year.
Fair
of the
enough.
window.
right,
And, you know, you wanna have, you
I
know,
like
each
it.
glass,
right.
you know, has signage on it or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know this table is not good.
Like, you go
Right.
cranking it.
Or you need like a
Crank
life,
yourself
you
up.
need, yeah, you need a lifeguard chair over there.
So with that, so what
Mm.
did you say? Cause we, like what the scope is? Is that what you were saying?
Don't put the
Yeah, we
scope
wanna
in
be
you don't wanna
specific, yeah.
handcuff a.
Yeah, you
your
don't want it
program.
immutable,
If,
right,
You know,
right.
in 3 years, you don't need any more window. work.
Right,
Right.
right.
You know, you wanna be able to be flexible, so you can
Yep.
say, you know, 2026 is the year of the windows, we're accepting all grants, but we're gonna focus primarily on those that are doing
Right.
work on their displays.
Okay.
Right. And then also sort of like eligibility, right, prerequisites.
Well, then you need people to come in and review applications and make determinations. That's also a piece to the puzzle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
That's a down the road piece, but if
I
you're,
think, well, I think we would be reviewing applications. Would you feel like that as a committee?
we
Because
could.
it would be something.
Mm-hmm.
we would want to be Publicly
Right,
blabbing about.
right, right.
Well, that would be, I would imagine we could go into closed session for something like that because we're reviewing. But
Yeah.
could we?
But
Probably
it's
not. It's
think
not.
so,
It is akin to a contract, because you're,
like, I think you could put the words contract on it and then say it's a contract negotiation.
But grant applications aren't public.
Well, some of it's proprietary information, wouldn't it
Right.
be?
What's on the application.
Yeah.
If you ask for my annual revenues and,
Right.
you know, my salary, then yes, that's confidential. But
but reviewing and deciding which things.
if you're
are
at.
fun,
Right.
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where our attorney will come in handy.
Right, yeah. that
Right.
should
that's
be
true too.
Right,
So let's not do the work of the committee.
right, right, right. We don't have to do that now.
I still have only the two committees. Are we looking for a third? Or are we feeling like those two are pretty much it?
Yeah,
Okay,
that-
that's fine.
that's a starting point.
Yeah.
For December.
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So, thing- place them.
Yep. Okay,
We're gonna send out the.
right. Right, but it probably makes sense, we would plan to sort of get this in place. Agree on the framework ideally in December, right? Get things in place early in the year. Let a little bit of money, maybe do a competition maybe early in the year sometime,
I
like
think
the first half of the year.
We should maybe look
I don't know.
at the amortization schedule before we get too excited, because it might be
Yeah.
a year before we can actually have
Right.
anything substantial enough
Right.
to do anything with.
Exactly.
Oh, right, especially for, right, that makes sense, right?
Gives us some time.
Mm-hmm, right.
Takers, anybody want to jump on some committees?
I think you've signed the people that didn't make it.
Yeah. Right. They'll be sorry.
So committee 1 is framework for program and financially how it works. Committee 2 is loan grant applications and a calendar when money is available. So that it's like a cycle for us, so. We might have to end up meeting more than 4 times a year.
Yeah, we might.
Too.
That's okay. We have to call a special meeting, that's fine,
Okay,
right?
that's fine. So the big thing is the framework, how we're going to want to source it back out. So I guess I've never done a revolving loan fund, so I can't speak to it at all, but do we need to have an internal document on how we want to work these funds, and then we put together our documents for public facing?
Public facing, yeah, you're gonna have to set what your program priorities are. And then you're gonna have to let the applicant know that. The biggest risk for these is that you could have discrimination in the distribution of the revolving loan funds. So that's why you've got to be really careful about how you review the applications, and they really have to be blind. That's where staff can help by just, inking out the names.
Right. Right. So setting up those public facing criteria for how the program will work. That's our big policy decision, I think.
Well, well, yeah, but I think we need to also know what we want to do and how, so that we can build off of that. That's probably our first. And it seems like we're in a general consensus that the loan would be loan and the interest could then be grant. So I think that's a big first step.
Right, exactly, that's what, Other stuff is nuts and bolts, and we need to just
Right.
find some. We should be able to find plenty of examples for frameworks and,
No,
we
Lisa
just-
loves a template.
yeah.
And to research.
You got time.
We just have to figure out what the priorities are, and guys.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help on that. So I don't necessarily want to be on a committee, but I'll be happy to help
Right.
peripherally. I just don't have the bandwidth to be a committee member, but I'm happy to sit down and go through and write some thoughts on and.
Well, but just having like some of the survey and everything like that.
Yes.
So that does, that's already like, we've listened to the presentation, and I'm assuming it's in written form.
The presentation from our survey.
Survey results, right, so.
Mhm.
to-
Right.
The town has a subscription to Survey Monkey, so if you want to develop a survey, we can do the research and put that out that way.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because I would think we want to support the businesses that are here. We also want to fill some of the empty space.
So that's what Main Street's working on right now. We have and it's only for downtown though. So
Right.
if you wanted to extend what we're doing and kind of let that be the EDA's bailiwick, and of course, and we can also join forces
Right.
together as well. It's retention and recruitment. And so we got grant money from the town and from Virginia Main Street, and we're gonna have a landing page on our website for the available properties, which will give the square footage, which will give all the details, which will connect to the real estate agents or the property owners, and they'll have beautiful pictures. And then, we're we have market studies to show, what more could we have in town? I think the market study from 2021 said that we actually have the capacity for like 3 more restaurants in town based on whatever the criteria was that they looked at. And so those are nice things that Main Street can
Right.
add in
Right,
for you all, for us all as
Right.
well.
right.
So I do see a really nice partnership there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most visible stuff, and I don't know what. I'm not even sure exactly where the borders to Onancock.
Yeah.
Reach to.
We should get you a map.
Well, I mean, I have met, but I mean.
No, just to show you where we are.
Yeah, and are there unincorporated aspects of Onancock? It seems like it kind of spreads.
There are. So then the 2341 address, 22417 address is quite large. We are very small
Yeah.
in that district. So, and we can go out to neighboring communities, can't we? We could even partner with only and do a big project if we wanted to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very well received.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that would work politically, but that type of relationship would be very well received.
Right.
And I'd actually like to see that at some point, because I think we need to look more how
Well,
we all
especially if
work
they're doing that
together.
development on Market Street, like to sort of have a theme or something. I don't know.
Well, we are, if this building development gets off the ground, we will be there downtown
Right.
and in their town in general. So I really want the town to be planning for that
Right.
and not reacting to it.
Right. Right. Okay.
I know the planning commission's doing their, the comp plan revision right now as well. And they did bring in OBCA and Main Street. And I know they want to talk to us as well.
Mhm.
Because they do want to weave in the community partners into that document.
Right.
And so this will be a nice strong, once we get this foundational stuff together, I think it'll be
Right.
nice.
Right. Okay, well, I'll be on a committee, whatever,
Okay.
I don't care which one, doesn't matter. I just need a deadline, that's the only way that I'll get
I
anything.
think Rosemary will probably do
Rosemary.
committee, right?
The deadline.
Any interest?
Do I have any
Yes.
interest? Not what I probably should have.
Okay. All right, well, let's not
All right,
dawdle on this. We know we need to send out
Yep.
emails and get
Okay.
people pumped. So.
Yep. Okay. good,
And I'm happy to jump in and whatever, but not spearhead.
okay. We'll just hit you up,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, let's just get started on generating just some ideas, like for the December meeting, because we really this is pointing out, we don't have much of anything to play with yet.
Right.
So there's really no time
Right,
pressure here.
right.
So let's-
Right. Can put something out,
Yeah, it's hard to be
Discussion.
so amorphous right now.
yes.
So what I think what'll be helpful is if I can get these drafts done fairly quickly, send that out, and so people can understand actually the gravity of what we've been talking about. Because this is the fun stuff, right? We're planning
Right,
and we're executing. So yeah, they're in here.
oh yeah, fruit flies, it's fruit fly season.
So let's get people motivated to start working on this. And like I said, I'm happy to help and sit in on something,
Okay.
but I don't necessarily want to be writing agendas.
If you send those out and I can visualize what
Okay.
it is,
That's what I mean, like, what,
then I'd be more apt to say,
something, and then,
I think I
Very amorphous right now, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
then people can figure out what they're interested in and.
For sure. I think it's been a great conversation.
It has been really good, thank you. Okay. All right, do we have anything? Wait, hold on.
Process for changing meeting dates.
Oh, right. There's nothing official.
Well,
The notice of this one was a bit late,
Oh, is that right?
and that's where,
That's how that came up.
we have FOIA publication rules that we met.
Okay, right,
But it was still just for reality, it was a little short.
okay,
Also, we have to decide, if the chair can't be here, does the vice chair take
Right,
the reins?
right.
Or do we can't, that's the kind of thing that I would I think that there are other people that want that fleshed out as well.
Okay. And that's just a policy decision?
Yeah, it would be policy now.
Okay, right,
Doesn't need to go in bylaws or anything like that. I would just say that will be the practice that we follow from this point forward.
right, right.
Yes, it's Bill Chandler.
Okay. And I think we
We still
throw,
need a secretary too.
yes, we need a secretary also.
Look at her writing. You're ready.
Yeah.
I actually did have a thought that I mentioned to Katie, and feel free to shoot me down, and I don't know that this person would
Yeah,
be willing
me
to
too.
do it. Is that we do have $20,000 that the town donated to us to get started. And we can pay for a treasurer and secretary, and my suggestion would be, because it is hard to take minutes and have a good conversation unless you're really good at what you're doing. Is maybe see if someone like Debbie or Debbie would do it for a fee. Like each meeting, she would get paid X to come in and be the secretary of the board. Okay. Okay.
Fabulous.
All right, so I'd like to make a
Somebody
motion.
says- Isn't Jake
Yeah.
already stuck with treasures?
Yeah.
I mean,
Stay
appointed.
I'd
Right.
like to move that Kendra Stearns be the secretary of the EDA.
I'll second it.
All in
And it'll be
favor?
Kendra Stern, assisted by Chat.
Yeah. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Great.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ken. That's nice. That's really
Excellent.
great.
So how do we want to, do we want to also put that in an email to the board to think about so we'll finalize how we're going to change and update the meeting practices at the December meeting, finalize in December. Okay.
Yep.
That works.
All right. Good. All right. What else? Anything left? Any other comments? I think that's all we have, right?
I have a comment. I probably should refrain from saying it. But, based on what was thrown out towards the board, I felt was very ill-mannered. And I just am not interested in being part of a group of people trying to be constructive in helping and being accused of different things. And I'd like just to go on record by saying that I thought that Mrs. Paparo was well out of place to suggest that the meeting being switched was a means of showing favoritism or subordinating certain members. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with just trying to put together this meeting and get a quorum here and get as many people present as possible. And it just, I just was taken back by the vindictiveness of the accusations that were made. Fortunately, I was not one of the favorite. So I think I can say that without trying to vindicate myself. So, and I don't think that anybody sitting here would feel any differently than what I just said.
Thank you.
But I just felt it was necessary to say and sort of defend how things got to where they were.
Thank you for saying that. I think, Matt's point is well taken. We probably should put a policy in place just
Yeah,
to
we
dispel.
Well, it sounds like it
misunderstandings.
is.
Right.
And contrary to it not being, I think everybody would defer to it's your call. You're the chair,
Right. Yes. Certainly there was no,
Yeah.
intention.
Well, we probably need a little,
Couldn't be here either, so I'm not sure, like.
Right.
Jake, yeah.
Jake, yeah, Jake couldn't be here.
Bill's here.
Right,
Jake.
Bill's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, right.
I'm sorry.
I would say that we probably need a little procedure, like when we can expect an agenda out as a reminder, just so that, because I know the June meeting, Some people just didn't know that we were still having the meeting. Some people just showed up just to see,
Yeah.
and so we didn't have a quorum, so.
I had it on my calendar. I just didn't,
Right, right.
for some reason, I just,
It's our fault.
Right.
Where, I said, when and where is it? And you were like, oh, it's at 6. And I was like, I still don't know where it is.
We'll get that straight.
Yeah, but little things like that, reminders like that, will be,
Right.
so if we just have a process in place.
We send out meeting notices and agendas and packets 1 week before the meeting. No
Right.
later
Yeah.
than 1 week
Right.
before.
yeah.
But you all know where to go. So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I got
No,
the
I
packet
understand.
and then
Yeah.
and I put it on the calendar and then I was like,
Right, right. Now you do. So we're in good shape now.
Okay.
So. All right.
but as we have more substantial stuff to do. We'll be more.
I think that's right. I do think that's right. And we should all remember that we still have a vacancy. And filling that vacancy will make our issue of, we have 2 vacancies?
No,
Oh.
no, I'm raising my hand.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Phew,
We
okay.
had that one thing that I mentioned to you earlier about administrating a loan.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Oh.
Please share that. Thank you.
The Northeast Community Grant that we received for the revitalization comes with, the homeowners received a loan for the renovation of their properties. It is a no payback loan if they stay in the property for 5 years. If they do not stay in the property for 5 years, they're required to pay back the loan, and we already have, we have a lien on the property for that,
You do have a lien on one of them?
all of them.
All of them?
Well, it's only, lien is not the right word. We've got collateralized.
You got, so it's not part of their tax records? or
No,
anything?
no, no, no.
Okay.
That's why I said lien isn't the right word.
Okay.
But anyway, so the question was, ANPDC is currently administering that, but my fear is that it will slip between their cracks. And there's no reasonable way that they would know if the person is still residing in that structure. So I was wondering, and if they do have to repay it, I'd like it to come back to this group and not ANPDC.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be only once a year going to check to make sure that they're still, that person is still residing in the property. But if they aren't, then we can exercise the clause to, if they sell it, it's already recorded in the court that we have to be paid that portion of the loan back.
Yeah.
So
If it's sold,
if it's.
there should
we
be
have
in
to
the
go
deed,
with-
in the deed of trust, in the deed of trust or whatever.
Yes,
Wording that would have notify whoever is trying to do title work on it, that the
yes,
town would be notified
that's exactly right.
or whoever.
So I didn't know if you wanted me to pursue pulling that back to us, or if you want to remain with ANPDC and just sort of hope.
I think the AMPDC has got a lot going on, and I think we're small potatoes. This has been a project that started before Bill Curbin even left the town. That's years. We're talking
Wow.
about 6 years. And part of that was COVID, to be fair, not just on them, but yeah. And I, based on our conversation at the council meeting Monday night, I have concerns as well. So what would that look like for us to absorb that?
I already talked with Elaine Meal about it. And
Okay.
she was open to the idea of us just taking that, because any assets that they received as a result would have to come back to the town anyway. But she acknowledged the fact that there's no reasonable way that they could administer that. Or
Well,
police
Because Eric Lachansky is gone, right?
he is, yes. he's
Okay.
gone.
He
The new
was our
person
guy.
is significantly better, but the work that got done while Eric was there was not to the standards DHCD expected.
Oh, huh. So would we have any, does that complicate things? Like, the quality of your
No, I
work
think
or?
what it's gonna end up actually doing is helping us pay for the land use permit, but you know. We'll see how I do with that.
Okay.
Okay.
How much is left on that project? Give us a percentage of what's left on to do on the project.
We're coming down to the end.
The end.
Home renovations, I think the last payment to the last contractor is going out. You know, the demolitions have all been done. Now I'm the one following up to make sure that the property owners, once their homes were demolished, that they're taking care of the property, and they're not, of course. I mean, none of them live here, so. My cross to bear.
And I do know, based on a conversation Monday night as well, that it sounds like Habitat for Humanity would love to do another project in town.
Yeah, I was talking with one of the owners that isn't taking care of the demolished property. And said, you know, look, these guys are paying $15,000 for a parcel. You know, I mean,
Right, yeah.
what are you gonna do? So, we'll see. Cause I'm just gonna end up taking care of that and adding it to his tax bill anyway, so.
Is this something we want to think about, or do we want to make a motion? Or how, procedurally, how?
One question,
Sure.
aren't we prohibited under our statute from doing housing?
No, I know, that wasn't what I was referring to necessarily. Well, that's. Hold on.
Bylaws.
Okay. That's the only question. I think the state law prohibits us from doing housing.
Hold on, I got it right here.
Buy a building and rent it out.
Really?
Yeah, cause I thought we could do. Yeah.
Housing authority.
Already housing developments. And
Yeah,
State
no.
code does allow it for housing, they expanded it just within the
Oh,
last couple of
yeah.
years.
Okay.
It's just like you can't operate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can, somebody else can come in and operate it and then pay us rent to do that.
Okay.
Was what I had read as well. Glad you're here.
I could talk to Elaine and just let
Okay.
the group know what
Right,
would be
right.
involved, because obviously nothing's gonna happen between now and December anyway.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, but it does sound like a good
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
give more specifics.
on the face of it.
I think this is an interesting idea, Matt. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. All
Um,
right.
because I think we're kind of in comments now. I have one thing I wanted to kind of, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I want us to start thinking about it. Right now, everything is housed in the town, like getting the meeting notices out, and you know, all the financials are in-house. So if our treasurer wanted to look something up on the fly for us, he really can't. And that's fine for now, but I do think we need to be thinking about what that looks, to be getting our own listserv to let people know that notices are coming out for meetings, and if there is a change in a meeting. Right now, everything's on the town website, which is probably fine and will be for years in regards to our minutes and access to the electronic recordings. But we do need to be thinking about what the future looks for us internally for that basic admin side of things. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there to have on our radars, because as we're developing our programming, we're going to have a lot more that, you know, where we need to be reviewing the projects and cutting the checks, and not necessarily the town, because if we do get this money and the volume is going to increase and they don't have the bandwidth to do that in town hall, and it's not really their responsibility.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out.
Good. Fair point. Okay. Anything else?
Did everything? Okay.
And
Did our guest have anything he wanted to?
Yeah, I'll get an email address because, again, I'm Paul Grossman. I sit on council for Cape Charles. But I also am on the Northampton EDA, and I'm the secretary. So, you know, I generate the agenda and get it approved by the chair. Take the meeting minutes, I post it, I make sure it's on the county's website, calendar, and what have you. So that's one aspect you need to be looking. Bylaws, you need to take a look at your bylaws to see how extensive, if you have bylaws,
we do.
okay, with regards to when you're talking about meeting dates. You should have a section in there dealing with how do you deal with setting meetings. For us, in our January meeting, we set, or December meeting, we set the 4 or 5 meetings that we have for the next year, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a special when something comes up.
Yeah.
So you need to take a look, and I'll send a copy of the bylaws
Thank
to
you.
you. The other thing was we have a loan and grant program. And that I think may be beneficial just for you to look at. Whatever
Thank
you're
you, that'd be great.
developing,
Be awesome.
somebody else has developed it.
Right.
Okay, you don't have to reinvent anything, you just go find it
Right.
or combine a couple. So again, the loan and grant, we just issued and we kind of leave it opened all year round. And we have criteria for coming in, and really it's the board that decides whether or not we're gonna give a grant or a loan. And we just changed the parameters where we could give up to 40 grand for a loan and up to 10 grand for as a grant. So we had recently a bakery from Exmoor come in and said, hey, we've got skin in the game, we rented the place, we've spent all this money, but I need a little bit more in order to make this thing work. And they asked for something, we gave them something a little less, but that's what we're trying to utilize for economic development across the county. So it doesn't have to be in the county itself, it can be in the incorporated towns, but I'll give you a copy of what we've got there and it may be worthwhile.
Well, thank
That'd
you.
be awesome.
Was that
Thank you.
awesome?
That's kind of what I've been asking. about,
Yeah.
like, where to go.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a
been great.
gift.
Glad we got a quorum.
Really glad. Really glad. Anyone? Cindy, anything? I think she's still.
No, nothing for me.
Okay, thanks for joining us. All right,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone? Okay,
Adjourned.
we're adjourned.
What time? is
Great.
it?
Thanks, everybody.